And I can tell you why La Republique doesn't want any dialogue. You know, everybody talks about dialogue, and then when they talk about this dialogue, then they say, oh, like Liberation was saying, some form of federalism. No, there is no form of federalism that the people of Ambazonia would accept. Okay? And La Republique knows that. Which is why La Republique went out to win this thing as a war. They wanted to defeat and own the place as a war trophy. That did not work, because they know that if we go and sit on a negotiating table, you negotiate on facts. La Republique doesn't have the facts. La Republique does not have the facts. So they know that if they cannot win it militarily, then they can just as well pack their things and leave. Because like the lawyer said, there is no act of union between La Republique and the Southern Cameroons. They like to say, oh, it was our territory. What your territory? It wasn't. The Southern Cameroons has never, ever been part of La Republique. It was part of a German territory, which the Germans came and threw their net and caught all of us in that net. The First World War came, took off that net. The British threw their own net and caught us in their own net. And the French threw their own net and caught the people of La Republique and created their new nations there. And the people of Ambazonia have never been part of La Republique du Cameroun. We have been part of a captured people under a foreign nest. And when that nest was up, in normal terms, we would have been free to go our own way. But the British threw it and caught us and kept us with their own part, and the French caught them and kept them in their own part. Okay? When it was time for independence, we were slated for independence. In fact, the British has drawn a constitution for the people of Ambazonia. It's called Orders in Council. And we're slated to be independent on 1st October 1960 with Nigeria. But the complications came because of UPC and the whole politics, the whole Cold War politics that resulted. The British wanted us to stay with Nigeria. In fact, if you look at the map of Nigeria, if you look at the parts that Nigeria took from the German territory, they just took it to straighten their borders of their own colony, Nigeria. They were never really interested in gaining any more territory in West Africa, because the British never really wanted West Africa. In fact, stronger European powers never really wanted West Africa, because West Africa was mosquito infested and the mosquitoes were not good for Europeans. So if you look at the British are more, they more love their lands in East Africa, because East Africa had temperate. It was a temperate climate. In fact, they used to have what they used to call from Cape to Cairo. From Cape in South Africa all the way up to Cairo. That's what the British wanted, and that's what they had. Okay, they had all that part and left the whole of West Africa to the French, which was mostly desert, and then what was not desert was mosquito infested. Okay, so if you come to West Africa, you only saw the British they had Nigeria. Nigeria was big enough. Then they had Ghana, and then they had a few other smaller territories, more for their boats, for their ships to stop on their trips around the world. Okay, so Nigeria was not. The British were not interested in any more territory when the German Cameroon was up for grabs. But we have never been part of La Republique, so La Republique really needs to stop that. You know, they did try that. They tried the same. What's the right word to use? They tried the same claim on northern Cameroons that went to Nigeria, and they lost that case in court at the International Court of Justice. So the courts have proven that the people of Ambazonia, the people of northern Cameroons at the time, and the people of southern Cameroons were never the properties of La Republique du Cameroun or the French colony. Okay, so that was a fraud, and that fraud continued. And everything, like Gojidika says,
we have been in a lawless state from 1st of October till today. It has been a matter of lawlessness, unconstitutionality, illegality, invalidity from day one till today. And it's going to continue like that until you go back to square one.
And so La Republique knows that if we were to go and have and sit on a conference table to negotiate with third parties observing objectively, they will be done. And that's what is going to happen. Because the people of Ambazonia have decided that there was a time when we talked about living together. We came out with all kinds of appeals, all kinds of models to live together, and they refused. And then we reinstated our independence. We fought for it. They've come and showed this. They've come and showed us their colors, and those are not people that we want to ever be associated with again. If there was a way not to have them as our neighbor, we would not have them as our neighbor. But there's not such a way. So that is the best we can do. Have them as our distant neighbors.